Gregory, presiding officer of the Suffolk County Legislature. During my tenure, I promoted government transparency and open access to government. This show is brought to you with the intention of informing the public through community engagement. You will hear from various local officials, community advocates, and leaders. Please enjoy the show.
Well, thank you so much, Brother Gregory. Again, this is DuWayne Gregory Presents, and I am your program host, Andy C. Luter. I'm representing Luter Life Coaches, and it is actually a partnership between the presiding officer of the Suffolk County Legislature, DuWayne Gregory, and Luter Life Coaches that co-produce this program. We're so delighted to have this platform and this opportunity to come and to share with you. Now, as the presiding officer has already outlined, he has become committed to bringing to you individuals, communities, corporations, businesses that impact the quality of life here on Long Island. DuWayne Gregory Presents is a weekly program. It is a community program that is aimed at sharing with you influential individuals here on Long Island. Luter Life Coaches is partnering with County Legislator DuWayne Gregory to bring these programs to you on a regular basis, and we are so delighted to do so. So I am your host, Andy C. Luter. Now, this program, again, is designed to acquaint you with the shakers and the movers here on Long Island. And in this particular program, we are featuring, celebrating, and affirming the producer of this program in the person of DuWayne Gregory. Now, in so many of our other episodes, you will see us interview other individuals and share with them and have them share with us and share with you the spectacular things that they're doing here on Long Island. This is one of our first productions for DuWayne Gregory Presents here on this particular channel. And so we thought it would be rather appropriate to begin this series with the very person who is responsible for bringing it to you. So over the next several minutes, we're going to share with you insights, background, interviews, speeches that have been delivered by DuWayne Gregory, who is the producer and the sponsor of this program. Now, having said that, let me share with you that to bring this forward, I've gone back into our personal archives and I have retrieved some footage that is slightly dated. I want to share with you a slightly younger DuWayne Gregory. I had the opportunity and the privilege of interviewing him several years ago, not too long after he entered the county legislature. And so I want to bring to you, to begin our program today, about a 9-minute interview that I did with DuWayne Gregory, where he talks about his background, his biography. He shares with you some of the details of his career and talks about what it is he hopes to accomplish in this capacity while residing in this office. So again, you are watching DuWayne Gregory Presents. We come to you each and every week at this time on this channel. So I want to invite you to share this information with other individuals, your family, your friends, your colleagues, your associates, your co-workers. Let them know that every week at this time on this channel, they can retrieve some of the best information and material that's available here on Long Island, right here at DuWayne Gregory Presents. Again, I am your host, Andy C. Luter, and I am delighted to be able to share with you in this regard. So, let me go back into some of my personal archives and pull up a slightly aged video that I have found that displays DuWayne Gregory as a slightly younger man and his entree into the county legislature. I have some other material that I've assembled as well that I am equally anxious to share with you. But at this point, let's go to a little something I did that was called Community Watch. Here it is, Community Watch featuring DuWayne Gregory. Hello, this is Bishop Andy Luter, and I'd like to welcome you to Community Profiles. Community Profiles is a local effort to bring you, our audience, in contact with those persons and personalities who have a high impact upon the quality of life in our community. Today, our very special guest is legislator DuWayne Gregory. He serves here on Long Island in the Suffolk County Legislature. He is our local representative, and we are happy and delighted to welcome him to our program.
Thank you, Bishop
Thank you,
Luter.
Legislator, for being with us today and sharing with us. In light of the time and how limited the time is, I want to take advantage of every moment that we have available. And so I want to provide you an opportunity to kind of reintroduce yourself to our audience, to those individuals who may not know who you are, but in terms of your roots and where you grew up and how you got to where you are. Let's talk about that for a few minutes.
Okay, well, I'm a product of Long Island. I grew up here in Suffolk County, actually Islip Town. Graduated from Central Islip High School, and then I went to college in North Carolina at North Carolina Wesleyan College. And after college, I came back here, back to Long Island, and then I enlisted in the military in 1993. So I served and I got an honorable discharge back in 1998. And then at that point, I really wanted to get involved in government. And so, I was already working, volunteering on different campaigns and things like that. But in 2000, I got my first real opportunity to work with local government.
Okay.
So I started working for the town of Babylon under Supervisor Rich Schaefer.
Okay.
I was his special assistant, and I was in charge of what is called his Office of Citizen Services.
Okay.
So we dealt with a wide array of issues dealing with constituents all throughout the town of Babylon. Then once he left, and Supervisor Steve Ballone came on board, I was Steve Ballone's Deputy Commissioner of Department of Public Works. I was in charge of the Buildings and Grounds Division. So I would work with a lot of different community groups, and we maintained the parks. So we did a lot of different things to help beautify our playgrounds for our residents. And then I was promoted to Commissioner, General Services.
Okay.
And I oversaw all the procurement for the town of Babylon, maintenance of the buildings. And then after that, I went to work for Suffolk Off-Track Betting.
Okay.
I was the associate director for corporate services there. And then in July of 2007, I went to work for the former legislator of the 15th District, Ellie Mistel, as his chief of staff.
Okay.
Yeah. And
now, when we talk about the 15th Legislative District, what are the boundaries? What does that cover? Okay,
on the south side, it's Amityville Village, Copeg. We have North Amityville, East Farmingdale, goes up to part of North Lindenhurst, part of North Babylon. I have 2 blocks in West Babylon, but Wyandanch and Wheatley Heights. Those are the boundaries. Yeah.
Now, you're not terribly old, but you have some longevity and some experience, and certainly the variety of jobs that you've held has given you, I'm sure, a unique perspective of our locale and Long Island. Since you have been here and over the years of your working on Long Island and growing up here on Long Island, what are some of the major changes that you have observed?
Well, I see, particularly in this district, there's, with with Maxine Post as a former legislator, some of the issues, there are some changes, but there's still some things that are the same.
Okay.
Unfortunately, unemployment has increased, and that's something that we never like to see. Access to health care has improved, but more people are out of jobs now, so they have less health care. Immigration is been definitely a big change. It's changed the demographics of the community significantly. I think access to government has improved, so that's a positive change.
Okay.
And there's a there's an issue as we've talked about in the past about foreclosures and affordable housing for people, and that's something that we would want to turn around. But there's some positive, but there's some negative changes that have happened, and I hope that in my position I can help influence more change, more positive change, and that we can address these issues.
Okay. Now, in 2007, you went to work for the former legislator,
right,
Ellie Mistel.
Right.
And in that capacity, what all did you do? What did you see? What were your experiences in that capacity?
Well, as his chief of staff, I was responsible for running his office. Everything from constituent services to policies, everything. I was the right-hand man, if you will, and that's an interesting perspective because you get to, you're behind the scenes, but you get access to what's going on and what government is really about, and some of the things that are not so publicized, for the general public. So you have that background knowledge that is crucial sometimes to understanding certain issues and the history behind certain issues and where we are today and why we're here today. So I think that's a unique perspective, and it's been a benefit for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Brother Gregory, now, you've had the rare opportunity to kind of work on both sides of the street. Mm-hmm. You've had a variety of jobs in town government. Mm-hmm. You're currently involved in county-wide legislation. Mm-hmm. What do you see as the major difference between the two? Because I'm not sure that people always recognize the multiple municipalities that operate and impact the quality of life here on Long Island.
Right. I enjoyed working for the town. I really did. I got a lot of pleasure out of it. And it was really an opportunity for me to interact with different community-based organizations and leaders in the community. But there was something I always felt that was missing. I wanted to get on the policy side of things. And so I felt it was important for me, to fulfill, I guess, my repertoire, if you will, of experience with the policy making side, and to get that exposure by working with the legislature. And it's been a blessing. You get to see government in action and why laws are made and how they come about being made. And I think it's important that people understand how our government works. And so it's been a great experience. And
now, you have rapidly built a reputation as being one of the most visible public officials, I like to say public servants, that we have available to us. At just about every major event, you are present. You're available, you are accessible, local parades, Amityville Day, church events, all kind of community events. How important is it to you to maintain a rapport and a relationship with the communities that you serve?
Right, to me, that's my number one job.
Okay.
I'm the people's representative. I'm not just the guy who resides in an office, that writes laws and things like that. It's important to me that people have access to me and to my office. We've instituted having hours on the weekends in our local libraries and on the evenings because I understand that it's, we live in a working class district and people are working. And so we don't, a lot of times they don't have the opportunity to come to the office or call the office during working hours. So we try to make ourselves more accessible to them. So I like to think of myself as a people person, and the government should be there to serve people. And in order to do that, we have to be accessible to people. So I go to the different events so people can have access to me and talk to me, and I can hear their concerns, and we can address the issues that matter most to them.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, if you wouldn't mind holding that point, I want to kind of come back and return and talk about local government. I want to talk about county government and some of the uniqueness of county government. Listen, this is Bishop Andy C. Luter, and I'm having a rather dynamic conversation and discussion with County Legislator DuWayne Gregory of the 15th Legislative District here in Suffolk County. This is Community Profiles. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. Well, friends, I hope that you enjoyed that snippet that we shared with you. I actually did that in two parts, and I'd like to share in just a few moments the second part of that interview with you. Now, some of the things that are probably discussed and mentioned and referenced in this interview is probably a bit outdated, maybe even obsolete at this point. But I think it gives you a sense of who DuWayne Gregory is and the tremendous asset he is here in our community. Again, you are watching DuWayne Gregory Presents. This is a weekly community television program where we interview and bring to your attention people, individuals, business corporations, institutions that make an impact upon the quality of life here on Long Island. I am Andy C. Luter. I'm representing in this capacity Luter Life Coaches, which is a firm that's dedicated to helping you be the very best person that you can be. I always invite you to go and check out that website, and prayerfully it will positively impact your life. So, having shared with you that first portion of an interview with DuWayne Gregory, I want to take you now to the second part of that interview that I conducted with him. I am sure you're going to find it both fascinating and interesting as well. Hello, this is Bishop Andy Luter again, and I am bringing to you Community Profiles, those individuals in our community who impact our quality of life. Today, my guest is the county legislator from the 15th Legislative District in the person of DuWayne Gregory. He has been sharing with us his experiences here on Long Island and his trek from local government all the way back to his beginnings as a native Long Islander here. When we left off, we were talking about the difference, the multiple municipalities. Some might even say the fragmented government, because Long Island is one of those places, especially where we are. There is village government, there is town government, there is county government, there is then state government, and then of course national government. And then there are all kinds of other utility districts and regions in addition to that. Let's talk a bit about the Suffolk County Legislature. What is its history, its background, and what is its chief function here on Long Island?
Well, the legislature was established, I believe, if I'm correct, in 1970. Okay. Prior to that, there was a board of supervisors. All the town supervisors would get together and they would make the laws for the policy making decisions for the county. At some point, like I said, back in 1970, there was a decision to go away from that and to go into 18 representative districts. As we mentioned, I represent the 15th district, but now we have a county executive who is the chief executive officer. So when you talk about three branches of government, the legislative, the executive, and the judicial, the legislature represents the legislative branch. So we're more of a policy-making branch of government. We have oversight over the different branches or functions that the county executive has under his jurisdiction. And as a part of that, I'm a member of the Public Safety Committee. Okay. So each month when we have meetings, we have the commissioner of the police department come in and all those law enforcement agencies, because we like to oversee and see what they're doing as far as their policies. I'm also on the Health and Human Services Committee. And in that capacity, we have the health commissioner come in and we evaluate what they're doing, as well as the commissioner of the Department of Social Services, which has a significant impact on this district because we have a lot of people that are in need of those services. So we're an oversight and a policy-making function.
Okay. Oftentimes people don't realize, because we use the term democratic government, which by definition literally talks about government by the people. I'm not sure we are as much a democratic society as we are a republic in terms of representative government. How do you see your role in terms of the ideology and the philosophy of representative government as it relates to your current role as a legislator?
I think we're very much part of a Republican government because Republican government calls for, power to the people, and through elections they can influence those that represent them, therefore by influencing how the government functions for them. Where back in history, a Democratic government, there may have been democratic processes, but the majority pretty much ruled and they had a say. So there wasn't really influence or input from the public at large. And that's fine, with me, because I believe, as I stated earlier, that, you have to work for the people that you serve. I'm a public servant. I'm not there to reign over some throne. I have to put in every day, do what's best for my people in the district. So.
And of course, when you say republic, you don't mean the Republican Party.
No.
You're talking about representative government.
Right,
using
absolutely.
the term republic as a description of representative government.
Right, absolutely. And I think that's, the significance of having term limits.
Okay.
In the legislature, we have a 12-year or 6-term term limit policy because, you want opportunities for others to get to represent the government. And there's arguments on both sides of the issue. But I think that with term limits, it gives more power to the people to influence their decision making or influence those representatives that represent the community.
Now, your representation and your brief career representing the 15th Legislative District has been unique in that it began as an appointment. You fulfilled the unexpired term of your predecessor.
It was actually a special election.
It was a special election,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's right. It was a special election, and that special election actually put you in the seat. But you had the advantage of having worked with the previous legislator, so you knew much of what was going on in that regard.
Right.
What was that campaign like? What was it like to campaign for a position after having been hired into all of your previous positions?
Yeah, it was rewarding.
Okay.
I'm trying to search for the right word. It was great to know that because I knocked on over 4,000 doors. And as I went through the community, a lot of people have met me at different events or had worked with me or I had addressed an issue that they had in the past, whether it was at the county office or when I even worked at the town of Babylon.
Okay.
People remember that was some years ago. And it was fulfilling to find that people remembered me because I was able to provide assistance to them, and they remembered that. That they recognize that our government officials are out in the community and out trying to do what's best for them. So it was really a rewarding experience.
Now, in the brief time that you've been in the legislature, what would you identify as the most pressing challenge that you've come in contact with in your position?
Well, right now we have to address, we have a $119 million budget deficit. I'm the chairman as the youngest member of the legislature, I've been appointed the chairman of the Budget and Finance Committee. Which is an immense responsibility, particularly as we go through this year with the large deficit that we have. There's a bill that the county executive has laid on the table to lay off over 300 employees. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of people that are concerned about that. So we're trying to come up with different ways to address the revenue shortage, generate revenues, so that we can keep people working and we can keep the vital services that the county provides, give them to the people. So, yeah, I would say that's the most important issue at this point.
Okay. Now, our time is just about expired, but I want to provide you an opportunity to kind of look into this camera and talk to your constituency. And for those who don't know how to get in touch with you, give them some contact information and ways that they can reach you.
Okay. Well, I'm your legislator, and I'm here to help you and assist you any way that I can. My office is available to you from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You can call us at 631-854-1111. And if you contact us and give us your email, we often put newsworthy information out for the community on our email database that we have provided. So please contact our office. Again, it's 631-854-1111.
Now, you've just come through the special election, so how much longer will you serve in this capacity before you will have to run again to retain this seat?
I'm actually up for election this year.
This coming year?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right,
it's
because the
November.
special election was for the unexpired term.
Right.
And so this coming year will be a full term, and the full term consists of how many years?
2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
All righty,
Yeah.
all righty.
So-
Well, listen, thank you so very much for coming and being our guest today. Listen, you have been watching Community Profiles with your host, Bishop Andy C. Luter of the Hollywood Full Gospel Baptist Cathedral right here in Amityville. Our special guest today is the county legislator from the 15th Legislative District in the person of Legislator DuWayne Gregory. Again, thank you for joining us today. We'll be back real soon with another guest, more information that will impact the quality of life that you live each and every day. This is Bishop Andy C. Luter reminding you that we love you, God loves you, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Well, friends, enough of my archives from Community Watch. I did that several years ago, not too long after I returned to Long Island after having been absent from Long Island for 20 years. My own career took me upstate New York and then out to the Midwest, Ohio. And after 20 years, I returned to the area and was anxious to share these media projects with the then audience that I had available to me at the time. And so I am delighted to have been able to share some of those moments with you as well. Now, in addition to those things that I recorded, some of you will remember an individual by the name of Pat Halpern. Pat Halpern was an elected official here in Suffolk County, somewhat renowned. After leaving public office, he went into media somewhat himself, and he put together a series of programs entitled Meet the Leaders. And one of his guests in one of his recordings, one of his productions, was DuWayne Gregory. Now again, this is a bit aged, and this is a younger version of DuWayne Gregory. I can't tell you exactly how old the video is, but I'm sure that you're going to appreciate both its presence and what Brother Gregory had to say even at that time. So let's go to Pat Halpern, and here is just an excerpt of one of his many programs that was entitled Meet the Leaders. And in this particular program, he is interviewing DuWayne Gregory. I am sure that you're going to enjoy it.
But you're also looking to use the web for other things as a way of improving people's connection to their county government.
Yes, one of the things that, excuse me, that I would like to do is to have a web-based constituent management platform. Right now, if you go into my district office, or if you go into, say, for instance, Legislator Clarko's or a number of other legislators' offices, we have our own constituent management data, platforms, whether they're using Access or Outlook or even Excel or Word or whatever the case may be.
Whatever that you do in that office, right?
Right. And
I want to take you now to one of the brief speeches or remarks that DuWayne Gregory has made not only over the years, but here more recently. So let me take you to DuWayne Gregory, and here he is sharing with his constituency here on Long Island.
so wherever your journey leads you from here, some of you will go on to a four-year institution, some of you will go into work. Please believe and have that confidence that you know that the faculty here and the staff here and all those that helped you reach today made your path possible. And you have a step up. So congratulations to you on behalf of myself and my colleagues in the Suffolk County Legislature. Congratulations and go for it.
Well, friends, that takes up just about all of my time, and I certainly want to thank you for yours. For the last several minutes, you have been watching and listening to DuWayne Gregory Presents. This is a community television program that is sponsored by Suffolk County Legislator DuWayne Gregory.
We have reached the conclusion of this show, and I hope you have found it to be very informative. Until next time, Presiding Officer DuWayne Gregory.